week. Our quarterbacks, all three of them, have thrown the ball extremely well, done a much better job handling the offense. We continue to get some guys back, which is good for our football team. You look at last week and the off week, lots of things that we had to improve on from last week back into this week. So very positive practice. Guys continue to do well in the kicking game with our kickers. Rested Brent a little bit today just because we kicked a lot of balls last week and get his leg back. But, having Bryce back, changes things up a little bit in the return game. So it's good to see him out there getting an opportunity to do some of that again. He was a guy that probably would have been our starting punt returner at the beginning of the season. So trying to get him back in there ready to go. But with that, I'll take any questions.
Question for Coach.
What do you want to achieve, like you said about players coming back, what do you want to achieve on Saturday against Georgia? What's your goal in terms of coming to this game in the top 5 team in the country? What do you want to achieve in this game?
Well, we want to achieve the same thing we do every week. We want to be at our best as a coaching staff, as players, anybody that touches our organization. There's very few opportunities when you talk about how much time you put into it when you start in January and off-season conditioning and through spring practice and summer conditioning, fall camp. You're guaranteed 12 opportunities to really show what you've done and how hard you've worked through the off-season. So we got a fantastic challenge Saturday. Our guys are looking forward to it. You want to play teams like this. Guys came to Tennessee to play in games like this. So it's a great opportunity for our football team.
Patrick and then Jesse.
Jeremy mentioned the quarterbacks. Why do you think they've sort of responded the past couple of weeks? Do you think it's because you guys kind of opened it up, or kind of why do you think they've kind of added midweek practice?
Well, I think really with the two younger guys, just it's the 5th week of the year, really 6th, right, with an off week. So, you get to work a little bit of a game plan last week, so it's a little longer prep for one team. So gives them another opportunity. I think, for Jarrett, it's an opportunity. He's had really good practices the entire year. He's looking forward to get a chance to improve himself, just like we all are in our program. When you look at our body of work that we see every single day, how hard everybody's working to prepare to be at their best, and we've not been there. All right? And the measuring stick is on Saturdays. It's why we do it. It's why we got in the business, why we're here. So this will be a great opportunity for us.
Jesse, David, Vince.
Trevor, you guys are working a different offensive line group the last couple of days in which you started against Florida. Has the decision been made to kind of move Darnell back out to right tackle, or is that kind of where you guys see him moving forward the rest of the season?
Well, we have a different group almost every day because Trey doesn't practice, so we move guys around. Jameer's been out. He's getting back. So we've had to shuffle some guys around. We've had some younger guys. We've added Chris Apparigny is back. So just figuring out who the best 7 or 8, 9 guys are that give us the best opportunity to win. Some guys have to play multiple spots, and Darnell's a guy that can do that. So we'll see as the week goes.
David and then Vince.
Jimmy, how do you feel about playing Daniel and Henry as many snaps percentage-wise as they did before you? Do you think that's sustainable, or what's sort of your approach to that position, the limited numbers you have there?
Well, your goal as a coach is everybody that's able to play at a winning level, you want to play them, right? I think you can look at Georgia's defense right now. They have lots of experience on their defensive side of the ball. They've created some packages to give some of these guys opportunity. It's something kind of everybody that's been in our system, so to speak, on the defensive side we've always tried to do is give people opportunities to play. If you go back and look, we did that the first game of the year. We had a lot of guys that are very close to each other in competition, some guys who had played here, some guys who hadn't. It's really close in fall camp, so you give guys an opportunity to contribute to the football team. And then as the season goes, you want to figure out, okay, hey, maybe this is a guy we don't need to take off the field. You know, there's been times over the years that, you know, we played certain linebackers in regular people, and then maybe a different one swaps out in nickel, and maybe another guy plays in dime, you know, and then we get in a ball game, and hey, maybe a team's playing more of a certain personnel, and we don't feel like we got our best players on the field. We have to swap guys out. So it changes from week to week.
Vince and then Rob.
Coach, with the offensive line, I understand there's some youth there and guys that didn't have a ton of experience coming in, and you've made progress in some areas, but what specifically do you think has been holding the offensive line back from having more success running the football and run blocking specifically?
You know, if you look at our offensive line, I'll start with Brandon Kennedy. You know, Brandon, this is the first time that he's probably been this healthy in his college career, you know, so he's had an opportunity to practice every day. Offensive line's a developmental position. The only way to get good at it is to do it over and over and over. That's why you see folks that teams that can retain. You'll see guys that maybe didn't play their freshman, sophomore, sometimes junior year, and then their senior year, they're a really good SEC football player. You know, everybody develops kind of at a different pace. So some guys, you know, maybe they had more opportunity when they were in high school, whether it was who was coaching them or the resources around them to be ready and be prepared for college. Maybe it was because they were a mid-year as opposed to a guy that comes in during the summer and they get 15 extra practices. So our guys up front have continued to work hard and compete. I felt like our best game as an offensive line since I've been here was the Florida game, and we scored 3 points. We've got to improve up there, stay on guys. We've got a couple of penalties. You know, we got a hands to the face when we gained 8 yards on a run. You know, we throw the ball down the field early in the game, break some tackles, and for the first time, I see white shirts running down the field trying to pepper people like you're supposed to. Now, we can't hit them after the whistle, okay? But there's lots of glimpses there in that game from how far we've come since the first game we coached in. So our guys will continue to work. They're young. They're going to improve and get better. We got competition up there now.
Rob and then Steve.
Coach, on the other side of the defensive line, just going up Georgia is only giving up 1 sack. Just who do you feel like your pass rush is? And you feel like you got better there here's the bye week?
Well, one thing that we've really had to focus on, you know, to me, I felt like our defensive line has improved in playing the run. And I'm going to tell you this week they'll have a tremendous challenge because I think these guys run the football probably better than anybody in college football. They have experience up there with the left tackle. Andrew Thomas is a great player. You know, they got Solomon, Trey Hill, Cade Mays, Isaiah Wilson, Ben Cleveland, Schaefer. You know, that's 7 guys, okay, and they probably got some more. Sawyer is up there. They got some big men who have played together, have really good running backs that can push it there. So that'll be a tremendous challenge for us. One thing that we have to do, and we have struggled with this year, to me, is converting on play action passes. You know, going from power to speed and converting pass rush. We've got to improve there. A lot of that is awareness. Every team that you play, all the great ones, they all have telltale signs. And it's something that you have to be aware of as a defensive player, whether it's the location of the running back, location of the tight end, who's in the game, stances of O-linemen, all these things that can help you pre-snap. So our guys they're improving in that area, and they'll continue to get better the more experience that they get.
Steve and then Wes and Jesse.
Speaking of pass rush, this was Darrell Taylor's breakout game last year. He has 1 sack so far this season. What have you seen from him? What more does he need to do? And I'm just wondering, how much attention is he getting from opposing offenses this year compared to maybe a year ago?
You know, to play winning football and to be a really good football player, you have to do the details. Okay, you have to create the right habits every week. And sometimes when things don't go your way in pass rush, sometimes it can be because the ball gets out. Maybe some team's 7-man protecting, or maybe they're chipping. Darryl, along with everybody up front, we have to improve our pass rush. And again, I go back to the details of just kind of being a master of your position, understanding what the other team's trying to do to you, having some pre-snap clues, and kind of stay in the course a little bit, he's a guy that has really good talent. Okay, he's really improved as a player, but he needs, like everybody else in our program, all right, he needs to raise his level of play just like we all do.
Wes and then Jesse.
Jeremy, when you look at a guy like DeAndre Swift and the way that he can take just very simple plays and make them 60, 70, 80-yard touchdowns, how much strain does it put on a defense when you have to account for a guy like that in the backfield who can kind of take something simple and make something huge out of it?
He's a guy that's not very tall with his stature, but the way he's built very powerful and strong. He's low to the ground, has really good balance and body control, great vision, good patience as a runner. There's some running backs that take a lot of licks. He don't take a lot of licks. If he ever gets hit, it's because he wanted to do the hitting. I think he does a great job of setting up defenders, running through the soft shoulder, and he has home run speed. He's one of the better backs in college football, and he has been for a couple of years.
Jesse.
Alontae looked a little bit dinged up earlier in the week. Warren Burrell was in the white today. Where's kind of the health of that cornerback position going into this game? And is a guy like Kenneth George maybe on deck if those two guys are limited on Saturday?
Well, anytime you compete at practice the way we do and is much live stuff, you're going to get guys a little bit dinged up. We can't sit here as a football team and say, hey, we got to worry about staying healthy. We've got to be smart how we practice. We got to stay off the ground. Unfortunately, both of these guys, jumping for balls or something, got a little tweak in an ankle or something. I think both of them will be fine for Saturday, but, it's part of it. If we have to play with Kenneth or Sean Schamberger or Kenny Solomon, those guys will be ready to play.
Any other questions? Vince, last question.
Coach, this time of year when obviously there's familiar with coaching staffs and you have games on tape for them to look at you and you to look at them, how much do teams typically put in new stuff in terms of in this game that maybe you haven't put on tape, and how much do you expect from the opponent this time of year in conference play?
Well, most everybody in this league are so familiar with each other. You kind of have a catalog, probably, I guess the guys that have kind of coached under the same defensive family or offensive family, that's the way it is now all across this league. People get opportunities and staffs move and change up. Everybody pulls something from the last place they've been. So, and the way technology is today, you can walk in there and flip on, any college game or any pro game and have the film cut up so you can see, hey, what's the explosive runs, what's the explosive passes, who's giving up the sacks and why. There's so much information that's out there, so it's very easily to take from somebody else and kind of make it your own a little bit. But yeah, I think everybody want to call what our players know. You want your players to play fast, but at the same time, you always want to create a few more wrinkles, so to give them something. I think, you look at their quarterback. I mean, you don't trick this guy. I've coached against him 2 years. I think we might have got him 2 times, and I don't know how many plays, 160 plays. Where we felt like that he didn't throw the ball or have him in the right play. That's a pretty good batting percentage for him. There's very few out there that I've seen like that. And it's one of the reasons that they're successful on offense.
Thank you, Coach.